Alrighty, so we're back here at the Manhattan Beach Toyota Lounge and with another episode of On the Couch. And today we have with us the queen of the Ironman, Annie Seawright. Annie, how you doing?
I'm great, thanks.
Thank you so much for coming and playing with us. Annie is a little bit nervous today.
Yeah, and get really nervous about these things.
So this will be fun. We should really give her some hardball questions and make her squirm. No, I'm just kidding. So Annie, let's start off with a fun one. Do you have your phone on you? So do me a favor, pull up your third photo. And let's see what you have on your phone.
Seriously, you want this? My third one that I took, it's from Target.
Wait,
Trying to figure out like a bookcase. I told you, like,
from Target.
Most of the year I'm really boring.
What is this? What am I looking at?
A bookcase. I was trying to figure out if it was going to fit in my daughter's room.
Well, if you can't tell, Annie was nice enough when she came in today. So for future guests, keep this in mind. She brought in a really cool shirt for me. This is your tournament, correct?
Yes, I kind of inherited it from my grandparents. They started it for my uncle in 1968. Right. He went to Costa, and then the year after they all went to college, they started to have a reunion every summer. And
so the tournament started off as just family, just kind of a family
just
reunion
friends,
on the beach.
just drunken college friends. And it was
those
more
are fun. Those are the best
drinking
ones.
and fun than a serious tournament. And it's really evolved into like the level of play now is amazing.
It's one of the biggest tournaments.
But it's also very social too.
Yeah, it's fun. Right? How many people showed up this last one?
It was the reunion, so we had a lot of the original players. So probably over 500. I know cool. I went through 500 signature cups. And, sold many T-shirts.
So the cups were for water, is that correct?
Yeah.
Let's pretend that the Ironman is a partner event. So you've got 2 people per team. There is a $1 million purse up for grabs. Who do you grab as your partner?
Probably Chris Brown. Because we've done it together so many times. He's probably done it the most out of anybody out there. And, I always feel good when I get into the pit and I see him there. I'm like, okay, here we go again.
Yeah. I love that. I love that answer too.
And I think he's strong in all sorts. And he's always so mellow. Right. There's been so many times when I'm in there and I always get super stressed out.
Right.
And he's always just like, it's okay, it's mellow. He's just got that aura. So
and he's done
I would say CB.
And he's probably done it as many times as you, right? Or
actually more. I think he started, I think I was probably 27 the first time I did it. And I think he was probably 18, 19. Sorry, Chris.
What's something that's really popular right now and that in 5 years people will look back at it and be embarrassed?
For a while, I was thinking it was going to be stand-up paddle, but that's really taken off, so I can't say that.
I think that's still sticking around.
Probably there's electric scooters.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
Those are everywhere.
Those are everywhere.
That's a good
Pretty
one.
annoying.
People could be a little bit embarrassed riding on those things.
I don't think you could top rollerblades for something embarrassing. So.
What about a guilty pleasure?
I like watching Ghost Adventures.
There we go. That's a good one.
Which is actually kind of embarrassing, but I really like that show.
So should we produce a Ghost Adventures here in the South Bay?
Yeah.
Is there enough?
That would be
some haunted places here?
Yeah. I want to be on that. I want to help. That's embarrassing.
I'm digging that.
I do that run club with like the little kids. So, once a week I spend an hour with 10 to 12-year-olds.
Right.
That comes up. I'm like, that sounds kind of cool.
Yeah.
So now I'm hooked. But I'm turning red because I can't believe that I watched that show. But I love that
and
show.
now everybody knows it too.
Yeah. Ghost Adventure South Bay. That would be good.
Alrighty, so this one's going to be fun. What is your most embarrassing moment?
There was an Ironman crowd surf where I think the 40th too. So everything was good. I won. I'm like, perfect. I'm going to have such a good crowd surf. So I get hoisted up. I'm like, yay, here it is. And then all of a sudden I get yanked down real quick. And it was my friend Bridget.
Right.
And I'm like, Bridget, she's like, your boob was hanging out. Oh. And I'm like, oh my God, wow. Okay, so she saved me. I went from being so pissed at her.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Oh my God, that would have been even more embarrassing.
Right.
I can't even imagine.
There's cameras everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. That's a good one.
I know.
That's a good one. Do you have any superstitions?
Yeah, I always have to, for the Ironman, I use the same old raggedy board, kind of put it in the same place. I had to buy my beer from Bocado's in the morning.
Yeah.
Franco will put it out for me, like so it's nice and warm.
Because you don't like the cold.
Yeah, I have the same cooler, and
So that, so
yeah,
you got, you
so
have your,
those
your
like things. Yeah.
Now, speaking of that, she actually told me a really good story about the one Ironman that she had cold beer. You have to have warm beer apparently when you're
Oh yeah,
chugging a six-pack.
definitely.
What happened? What happened with that cold
My
beer?
husband was doing me a favor, which was really sweet. He's like, "Oh, I cheered your beer up for you. It's all ready to go," and I didn't want to hurt his feelings. So yeah, I took it down there cold, and I should have known because that was one of the 2 years out of 22 that I foamed. It wasn't quite syrup. It was foam. But it was horrible. Like as soon as it happens, like you feel like everything just stops.
Yeah, everything you did.
Just can like see all the cameras clicking and the videos and everyone's like, whoa, it's horrible. And then all day everybody's like, how'd it go? How'd it go? And you're like, I threw up.
What were you like as a kid? You have so much energy now. I can just imagine you being a little runaround kid.
Yeah, I was always, into sports, total tomboy. You know, I had an older brother, and our house was kind of the hangout house where we had a basketball court and a little baseball diamond. And so I was always trying to keep up with him and do that stuff. I got to play AYSO the first year they let girls play.
Nice.
Which was cool. And I also played Hermosa Beach Little League the first year they let girls play with the boys.
Wow.
And I remember like Bad News Bears came out and Tatum O'Neal was like my favorite. Like, I'm like, I want to be her. So I was a total tomboy, but always really quiet too. Super shy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Still am.
And you also did the first female Ironman, is that correct?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And then there was a story behind that because you said something like they wanted it to be 3 beers, and you're like, no, I want to do it.
Right. I'm always kind of kicking myself now on that, but there was rules for the girls, but no girls ever really did it before.
Right.
I've seen some of them kind of jump in and do parts, but watching it over the years, I'm like, I could do this. And my husband Corey, was my boyfriend then, is like, do it next year.
Yeah.
And I remember mentioning it to my grandma, and she lived on 28th in the Strand, so she'd been watching it for years, and she loved it. She liked the energy. She liked the fun.
It's fun.
So she's like, sweetie, you should do it. Because she was a total pioneer in women's sports.
Right.
She ran, like the first year they let women run in the Olympics, she tried out and almost made it. She trained at the Coliseum and just missed it by a split second, but she trained with the team and worked in the village. And then her other claim to fame was she was the first woman to aquaplane, which is like, it's like water skiing, but it's like one big board. And they used to have a famous race from Catalina to Hermosa.
Oh, yeah, I have
So
heard
she
about
was
that.
like the first woman to complete that.
No
and
way.
at the time, it was
You've got like
national
powerful
news.
women in your family.
So, I mean, this does not compare to that. But when I told her I wanted to do it, she's like, oh, sweetie, you should. You can hang with the boys. So, yeah, it was pretty cool.
And
so,
you do.
Yeah, still doing it. I think she would be happy to know.
Yeah.
I remember, like, the third year I did it, my friend Mary Cross beat me, and she was so mad at her. And Mary Cross came over to the house after the thing, and she wouldn't let her in the house.
In. Oh, no, she didn't.
Oh, honey, why'd you invite her? That's the girl that beat you. Don't let her in the house. And I'm like, oh my God.
You're like, Mom, it's not the Olympics.
Yeah,
We just
at that age where there's no filter. But yeah, she was a competitor and like, how'd you lose?
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought that was classic.
I don't know if your husband used this on you, but what's the worst pickup line you've ever heard?
Oh man, I just told my daughter this the other day. This guy's like, hey, you're an athlete, huh? And I'm like, yeah, how can you tell? Usually it's my muscly legs. Because you got like a really big neck. What? Wow. So yeah, now I'm all self-conscious. Like,
You're turtling the neck.
I know. I'm like, oh my God. I was in Houston of all places.
Well,
so I'm like, okay.
What did you say? Were you just like,
I think I was just like shocked. I'm like, really? I'm like, wow, okay. Thanks.
Maybe. Oh, do you have a favorite teacher growing up?
Oh, yeah, that's easy. Well, there's a lot of good ones, but my favorite, I got to say, is Coach Bryant.
Coach Bryant.
Yeah, so he was the, when it was Hermosa Middle School, he was the PE coach. And so he's what got me into running in the first place, because we had an after-school program where you'd run laps after school and then have a big race.
Nice.
Yeah, so it was awesome. But the first time I did it, I won by a lot. But as I said, I was super shy. I was super embarrassed. from all the attention. So I never
Everyone's like,
did.
yeah, you're like, ah.
Yeah, no, I was such a dork. So, yeah, and then I went out for the volleyball team, and I never ran with him again in his
Right.
program,
Oh.
even though I sucked at volleyball. You know, being that age, you want to do whatever
Yeah.
the cool sport is.
Yeah.
But I'll always thank him for letting me know I was decent at running,
Right.
because when I went to high school, I ran. And
Oh.
yeah, so part of the reason that I like to do the run club out of Hermosa Valley is kind of in his honor.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, that's good.
Keep,
That's always
keep
nice.
that going.
Earliest memory. You've been here, you obviously were born and raised in Hermosa, correct?
Uh-huh.
What's your earliest memory that you remember?
One of my favorites is just being down at the beach when I was a kid and
Right.
running around, and lifeguard stations were yellow back then. And
Yeah.
we had the surf mats.
Oh,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah,
like,
those are fun.
were the best. And
Yeah.
I just remember having a really good day at the beach and, you know, falling asleep like down by the water. My mom covering me up with a towel. And
Yes.
I could hear my sister
I do
and
that with my
brother like
daughter now.
laughing and playing. And, you know, every time you go to your happy place, I go to that.
Yeah,
And I was
yeah.
probably 3, 4 years old. But
Oh, yeah,
I always
those are
just
good.
feel good down by the water.
So the big thing now, obviously, is how much the South Bay has changed. You know, keep
Yeah.
Hermosa. What is your favorite thing from the past Hermosa that is no longer in the present Hermosa?
Well, I think I just miss the freedom that kids used to have. Like when we were younger, we'd all walk to school.
Right.
You know, I remember my first day at kindergarten, my mom walked me over to a neighbor that I've never met. She's like, "This is Mike Ryan. You're going to hold hands and walk to kindergarten." And it was probably 10 blocks. We're like, okay.
Right. Yeah.
And we did, and it
Yeah.
was fine. And we did that
You're
for
still
a
here
year.
today?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was fine. Or I remember like being in 3rd grade, and the first time I could actually ride my bike by myself to Little League, to Clark Stadium, and, you know, stop by the liquor store, get a snack, and I felt so old and independent. and
Right.
great. Biking or skateboarding to school and on the way home, that was part of your day.
Right.
You know, but kids aren't allowed to do that anymore.
Well,
they
it's
can't.
just, and then none of that,
It's
but there's a
so
lot
sad.
more video games and iPads,
Yeah.
and there's a lot more
Right, and the
distractions.
other thing that I totally miss is just growing up, and you go to the beach every day. We go from like 10 to 6, and you know, every 5 blocks or so there'd be like a tribe of kids, and they'd just hang out for the day.
Right.
You know, they'd play volleyball on their own. They'd surf when they felt like it.
Right.
You know, they kind of taught each other how to do things. But you don't have that today. Kids just don't go to the beach for fun. It's all
Right.
everything's structured. It's
It is.
junior guards, which I love
It
that
is.
program, but
Right.
that's most of the kids, that's their whole beach experience, or it's volleyball lessons or a camp, you know, surf camp. They don't just go and do it on
hang
their
out
own.
with their friends,
so,
right.
yeah,
That's true.
I kind of miss that.
Pretty good.
And once you get to high school, half the kids are in summer school half the day.
Right.
You know, so it's, you know, I feel lucky that we grew up when we did.
Yes.
You know, these
I
kids,
agree.
they have a lot of opportunity now, and it's a wonderful place, but, you know, they don't have that freedom.
All right. Well, what's one food you can never bring yourself to eat?
Meat. I'm a vegetarian.
You're a vegetarian? Well, there we go. Now
Ever
we know.
since like 2nd grade.
Really? Oh, so
Yeah.
they're almost lifelong.
Yeah, so my
vegetarian, yeah.
brother's been one since he was 2. Since
Right.
he saw like a jar of pickled pig's feet, never went back.
He's like, I don't want
Yeah,
anything to
and
do
he
with
saw
any
like
of that
Dr.
stuff.
Doolittle. He's like, we're eating animals. So he never,
Right.
ever ate meat. So when I was in 2nd grade, he pulled out a National Geographic
Yeah.
of a slaughterhouse.
You're like, no.
And like, I can still picture this sad little cow's face.
Oh, no.
And now I can't do it. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's tough.
anything meat, I just can't.
What is your favorite dish in the South Bay?
Yeah, no, probably La Playita, Jesse Burrito. So good. You know, you
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
can't get a better location. You're right on the water. The
Oh, yeah.
stuff is so great. Never changes.
And then outside of the Ironman and your own tournament here, what is your favorite event in the South Bay that you have to be in town for?
Oh, gosh, it's close between Hometown Fair Beer Garden and the Six Man. You know, because you just see everybody at both those things.
People come back.
And
for both
yeah,
those
no
events.
matter what's going on, I always block out those weekends.
Right. What is one of your pet peeves?
Probably like all the houses on the Strand where the people don't actually live there, or they live there and they don't go to the beach, and that drives me crazy. Like maybe they'll open the house
shades
up
are
for like
closed.
a fireworks party, you know,
Right.
or 4th of July, but everybody's fully dressed and like
Yeah.
it's all catered. Yeah, I think if you have a house on the Strand, you have to spend a certain amount of time on the beach. You have to like at least
Should be
get out.
mandatory in the contract.
At least like feel the sand, like get in the water.
Yeah.
You know, not just use it because it's a good investment or, you know, it's
Right.
a cool sounding address. That drives me crazy. And half of the ones that are vacant most of the time and are just rentals.
Yeah, those are
I mean,
brutal.
I think that you should have a certain amount of parties a year and, you know, use it to the utmost and share it.
Yeah.
You know, that's what my grandparents always did.
What are you most passionate about? What draws you?
I think just our feeling of community here. And, you know, for a while, when I was 29, I felt like, gosh, I got to get out of this bubble. So all my friends thought I was crazy, but I got a job with the airlines,
Okay.
the Continental Airlines. And you kind of say, I'll go wherever you send me. Newark, New Jersey.
New Jersey is nice. My wife's from there, so I got to
Yeah,
make sure.
but it was just
Newark.
culture shock. Culture shock, you know.
So you were stationed in Newark.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow. You went from Manhattan Beach or from
Yeah,
Hermosa
so it
Beach
was
to Newark.
kind of crazy. And I remember going with my best friend that I met at flight attendant training. Like, we went from, like, we trained in Houston for 6 weeks, which was strange for me because I never really spent more than 3 weeks outside the South Bay.
Right.
So it's like, oh my God. And then we went to, like, Newark and drove through, like, the downtown. We're like, oh my God, what did we do to
We're
ourselves?
not in Kansas anymore.
Yeah. But then we got to Hoboken, and Hoboken
Beautiful.
was like this
Loved it.
cool little oasis. It was
Yes.
like, oh my God, the Emerald City. Like, so we had a great time, but I always felt like I really don't belong here at all.
How long did you do that for? Or you lived there?
Yeah, it was like off and on for a year and a half.
Okay.
But I would do things like, well, I'm training for the Olympic trials. I talked this up.
Right.
And so I took the summer off so I could be here because I'm like, I can't miss the summer.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
So I went back and forth a lot, but it was about a year and a half. But all the time people would go like, you're not from here, are you?
Right.
Because I would get on the subway or the bus and be like, hi. I'm like,
Everyone's
talk
like-
to me, oh, what the heck?
You don't
know?
talk on these things.
Yeah, no. But then every time I would come home, it would feel so good. I'd be like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
with my people again, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
And you go to Bocados or Spider or Java Man or you see 3-4 people every time and
Right.
just, I love our town because I love the Strand just brings people out there. And you can't help but run into people. It just makes
It's-
you feel good.
It's kind of like the entire South Bay is the Cheers bar.
Yeah.
You always run into Norm. You know,
Yeah,
you always run into
exactly.
somebody. that
That's
you-
Critters is
Yeah.
like my Cheers.
Did you ever, and you mentioned the Olympics, did you ever try for the Olympics actually? Or?
No, I was never that good, but like a usual goal is to make Olympic trials, you know, and so I tried to make it in the marathon and I missed that mark, but I really lucked out because they started the women's steeplechase for the first time ever. And so it's 3,000 meters and you have to jump over these barriers. And then there's like a water jump. So it wasn't a real Olympic event, but it was an expedition event.
Yeah.
And they're like,
Good for what you
okay, we'll take the top 16 in the country. But the good thing was nobody wanted to do it or they were scared or
So
there wasn't many
16?
races. So I was number 16.
Oh, perfect. How did
So
you end
I was
up?
like 10 seconds behind the rest of the girls. They even had like a special committee meeting if they were even gonna like let me go because I was so far behind.
Like, what
and I
is your
sucked
15?
at it too because I cannot hurdle. I have short, stubby legs. I was the only one that would step on the hurdle,
Right.
you know, instead of clearing it. But I'm like, I'm gonna do this. So I just gutted it out. It wasn't pretty,
Yeah.
but I made it. And they were like, okay, well, we said it's top 16, we have to take her. So I got to
Yeah.
go to Atlanta
Oh, cool.
and run in the Olympic trials and,
Wow.
you know, stay with the athletes. And people were asking for my autograph, which was a total joke. I'm like, yeah, sure. Here's my spikes. Here's my jersey. But yeah, it was super cool.
Yeah.
And actually, it was a really, really hot day. And so a lot of
I
girls
remember
bombed.
that. I remember
so I
the
actually
Olympics that
passed
year.
like 5 or 6 girls in the race.
There
I
you
mean, I
go.
didn't run great, and my time is laughable compared to what they do today. But I made it. So
That's great.
yeah, it was amazing.
Now you obviously teach kids to run here at
Mm-hmm.
Maricosta. What do you love about that? Is that a passion thing or is it?
That's a passion thing, and it feels so good to come back. Renee Williams is the head coach. She's been there, I think, 18 years. And what's super cool is she's the first girl to ever run cross country at Costa.
Very cool.
Yeah. her family was on vacation that summer, so she missed tryouts for volleyball and soccer. So she talked the school into starting the
I want to be on
running
something.
team. Yeah. So she talked them into starting it, and she ran with the boys. Her mom sewed her first jersey.
Wow.
And then slowly she talked her friends into joining.
Yeah.
And so when I got there 5 years ago, 5 years later, we had about 30 people. It grew that much.
Yeah.
And then now we've had as many as 90 girls.
Wow.
So it's really cool to be back there with her, and also Jeff Atkinson
Yeah.
as assistant coach, and he was a captain when I was on the team. So
Very
it's
cool.
great to have like all three of
Full
us
circle,
be back
yeah.
there.
Yeah, very cool.
So I have so many good memories, and most of my best friends today are still my cross country friends. So I like to kind of share that with the girls, and help them bond and appreciate each other.
Right.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, Annie, I want to thank you for your time. Thank you so much for being on our couch. And please stay tuned for more editions of On the Couch.